This video has been funded in part by the Guild via Patreon. Check out the links in the description or at the end of this video for more details.
Hello everyone, my name is Gildart, and welcome back to another Pros vs. Cons mini review. I've been diving deeper into the Chinese gaming scene thanks to games like Xuan Yuan and Sword and Fairy. So when I found out that East Asia Soft was going to bring over one of these spin-offs in Sword and Fairy in 2, I knew I had to jump on that. I will still say that Xuan Yuan's Sword 7 is my favorite one I've played so far, but my experience with Sword and Fairy Together Forever only fell behind marginally. The overall world of Sword and Fairy seems like it would be up my alley, so a nice little cozy game that brings together characters from that series? Hell yeah, I'm gonna play that! I know I've only played the 7th entry in the series, and I may not recognize any of the characters from this game, but I'm still more than willing to jump into a new game in this series. The very first Sword and Fairy Inn was released in 2001 and can be bought on Steam even though it doesn't have any English options. And this must be popular because in 2021, Sword and Fairy Inn got a movie. Like, the spin-off got a movie. That would be like after the Mario movie if they decided, hey, let's make a Mario Kart movie. The Sword and Fairy series isn't a stranger of film and TV, but I thought it was interesting nonetheless. Sword and Fairy Inn 2 released for Switch on July 27th, 2023, and that's the one we're going to be taking a look at today. A very special thanks to East Asia Soft for providing a review code. It's thanks to them that I've been able to experience a lot of these Chinese RPGs from Softstar. I am also looking forward to the console release of the third Xuan Yuan Sword game, Mists Beyond the Mountains, which they did announce during their summer 2023 showcase. I'm gonna be diving in relatively blind. I've only played Sword and Fairy Together Forever, so I'm not going to recognize many of the returning characters. Maybe I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself here. Don't forget to give this video a like, comment with your thoughts below, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, let's take a look at Sword and Fairy Inn 2. Ready, set, pros. Starting things off, I have to talk about how great this game is on the Switch. East Asia Soft will be releasing Sword and Fairy Inn 2 on PlayStation and Xbox consoles at a later date in 2024, and that fact did disappoint me, but after getting my hands on it, I can say that the Switch feels like the perfect place for this game. It is quite a cozy experience, which is suitable for on the go or in short sessions. The point of the game, as you can probably tell from the title, is that you run an inn. You play as Xiaoman, who is apparently from the 5th Sword and Fairy, and you manage an inn with Li Xiaoyao and Xiao Ying. Xiaoyao is the owner who inherited the inn from their mother or grandmother, I honestly can't remember. There isn't really a whole lot of exposition around the inn itself at the beginning of the game. It's mostly on the world of Sword and Fairy, which does include a character that many of you will recognize. The game plays like a resource management sim. First of all, you need to have enough money to pay your employees for the day. This includes every character you hire. You'll later get to hire other returning faces like Long Yo from the 5th game and Lin Yueru from the 1st game. There are 4 different jobs that you can assign to them. The first is the manager, who greets and sits those looking for food from the restaurant and shows those looking to stay to their rooms. If you don't have a manager assigned, you will have to do all of that yourself. You'll have cooks to make food, clerks to take the food to the table and clean the floors if needed, and room cleaners to tidy up after someone is done with their stay at the inn. Who you assign to the jobs will be based on their stats. I really like the RPG elements that are brought into a sim game like this. You also need to make sure you have enough ingredients for the items on your menu before you open your restaurant every day. You can grow plants and raise animals to have a proper stock, but you can also go into town to buy ingredients you can't yet grow, animals to be raised, seeds to plant, and materials to upgrade your inn. You'll also earn bonuses by meeting different requirements or completing different mini games against those staying at your inn. Sometimes these rewards are just additional ingredients and materials, but other times they are new recipes for your menu. Speaking of which, at the end of every day you can complete these minigames, but you can also train your staff or set someone to enhance the level of one of your dishes. Just be careful because it does cost 200 coins each time you train or enhance a dish. At the end of the day as well, you can send your characters on dates to increase their fondness. There aren't a lot of character interactions that happen this way, but when they do, they are always interesting. Most are scripted and will happen between business days, and even though I have no history of these characters, I am really interested in the story that takes place in Sword and Sword & Fairy Inn 2. I won't go too deep on this part as some of the details might be from some of the various games. There are relationships that seem to blossom and drama that takes place between the inn and another inn down the street. Every time I go to rest at the end of the day and I am greeted with a new event, I wonder what's going to happen. I'm definitely going to keep playing to find out where this story goes. One thing that I usually mention right off the bat is the visuals. This time I felt the need to talk about how nice it is as a handheld game first, but I do feel the need to talk about how great the characters look. I didn't do any research until I started writing this script, so I didn't know which games each character was from. Looking at some of the character renders in their respective games, then looking at their chibi renders here is honestly pretty dang cool. This makes me actually want to get into the rest of the Sword & Fairy games, but unfortunately only the 6th and 7th games have been translated. Maybe East Asia Soft will start bringing us more in the future. But that's all the pros I have so far. Now it's time for the wrath of the cons! Even though I mentioned the character designs and renders as a pro, I really have to mention the overall visuals as a con. As great as it is to have a game like this on the go, the visuals on Switch look kind of blurry. Like, I know the Switch is capable of handling 1080p visuals, and this game shouldn't be that taxing on the system. The fact that this game is so blurry really makes me wish that they had released the PS5 version at the same time. I would have much rather play it there. As well, the role of manager and cleaner weren't really explained very well in the tutorial. It was mostly up to me to figure out how they worked. The menus do give you hints as to which stat is important to each role at least, so I knew a good charisma would be required for managers and strength is required for cleaners. At first I thought the cleaners would also clean the trash that would randomly appear at the restaurant, but nope, that's the clerk's job. The cleaners are only for the rooms. If you have a manager set, they will automatically greet guests whether they're looking for a table or a room. They will also automatically turn away guests that are looking for food you don't serve or you've run out of ingredients for. The only thing is that this isn't explained to you. So when I set Xiaoman as the manager and saw Otto, I questioned why. I also find the automated manager isn't as fast as I can be sometimes to fill the tables. I've had to accept guests so many times for the manager when there were multiple tables empty and several guests waiting to be seated. Also, with the exception of Xiao Yao inheriting the inn, we don't get a whole lot of story about the inn itself. Most of the story that takes place here has no consequence with the inn. It could be anything else. There is the plot around the rival inn down the street and the mysteries behind it, but it doesn't seem to be as much of a focus as the 5 main characters. And look, there's no real problem with that, but the game doesn't really set up any sort of detriment for me doing business poorly. You remember how I said to be careful about training your staff and enhancing dishes? Well, that's because I wasn't. I came up in the red one day and that meant game over. Like, the whole game. I thought maybe if I come up in the red, I could just use less staff for the next day, and after I've harvested more from the farm, I can come up in the positive the next day. Nope, you get game over. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. I feel like if there was more reason for this, I would have made sure to avoid it. Maybe Xiao Yao inherits the inn under the condition that he turns it into the world's best inn. The inheritance stating that if he fails to bring in money even for a single day, the inn is taken from him. Even with something as small as that, it even makes the game over event make more sense because Xiao Yao, Linger, and Xiao Man are all starving and debating how they can feed themselves now that they don't have the inn. I don't know, maybe I'm expecting too much from a resource management restaurant sim spin-off from a Chinese RPG series. In the end, Sword & Fairy Inn 2 was a slow-growing experience for me. After just getting off the heels of Atelier Marie Remake, this was such a stark change in gameplay style that I just wasn't enjoying myself at first. Sword & Fairy Inn 2 definitely gives off mobile game quality. That is until you start getting into the nitty-gritty of things. I do honestly think that this game feels good on the go or in short bursts, maybe play for a couple of in-game days at a time. And so, with all that's been said, I give Sword & Fairy Inn 2 a thumbs up. This was bordering on meh for me at first. Like I said, it kind of felt like a mobile game that I would pull out while I was in the bathroom, but as I continued to play it and understand the mechanics, it grew on me. The character interactions and subplots that continue to come up just keep me glued to the game. All I care about now is making enough money to keep pushing me towards the next story beat. I want to know what other mechanics I'm going to unlock as I continue to play, because when I think I've got all of them and the rest of the game is just going to be mastering them, a new one is introduced to me and it makes everything that much more fun. Even though the visuals could have been better on the Switch, they're still pretty serviceable, and after playing it for a while, it's not super noticeable. I will likely pick this up on PS5 once the port is released, and I'll be going for all the trophies. Who knows, maybe I'll do an update video on the differences between the Switch and PS5 ports. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. But in all honesty, this game made me want to dive even further into the Sword and Fairy as well as Xuan Yuan series. I'm hoping that we see official translations for the first 5 games so I can jump into the stories that these characters are involved in. But in the meantime, I'll keep managing my inn until it's the best in the land. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for watching my mini review of Sword and Fairy Inn 2. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe for more. Are you excited for Xuan Yuan's Sword Mists Beyond the Mountains? Let me know in the comments below, and if you'd like to help support this channel and what I do here, you can join the guild, just like these awesome people that you're seeing on screen right now. You can join their names at the end of every single video for just $1 a month over on Patreon, or you can donate in a one-time fashion and join the volunteer unit over on Coffee. A special shout out to my guild general Beggy Beg for supporting this channel at the top tier. There's other rewards and other tiers as well, so check out the links that you see on screen, and I will see you all down in the comments.